So what we've got on the screen here is the advanced coaching course. For some of you who have dialed in, potentially you'll be working through this step-by-step process on the screen. You may be working through the online principles course, which is the first step in the advanced coaching course process, or you may have actually progressed and also moved on to the online Gymsport coaching course. The final component of that is to attend a face-to-face. So essentially, this diagram just gives you an idea of the pathway and the overview of the coaching courses. If we look at the
I might jump in there, Michelle.
Yeah, now have you got yours up on screen? Do you want to take the screen?
No, let's just continue as we are.
Okay, all right, off you go.
You're happy. Guys, this is the stages of the advanced coaching course, the online advanced principles coaching course, then the Gymsport specific one online, and you can see the first aid course here. So that'll be done externally, and you'll bring your first aid certificate from your first aid provider. That training isn't provided by Gymnastics Australia, but these two online courses are. And the Gymsport advanced face-to-face course there, whichever Gymsport you're pursuing, and the outcome at the end there, the advanced coaching accreditation. It looks like we've got 4 people online. For those of you that want to maybe unmute yourselves, it might be useful for us to get an idea at this point of what stage of training you're up to, if you'd like to share that. So Reb, I can see, are you happy to share what stage of training you're up to so we can tailor this to you at all?
Sure, I'm actually an ex-level 2 coach, and I let myself lapse 15 years ago because I was working too much to coach, so I'm actually coming through this for the second time effectively. At the moment I'm doing the advanced, the online coaching principles course, and I'm hoping I can slot through using the, I think it's called the extended pathway to get through.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, look, we're not going to focus heavily tonight on the extended pathway, but it's good to know that you're looking at that pathway because we certainly can mention it. And that would be where you only actually have to submit a couple of the assessments at this online principles course to access the extended pathway, and that's where you would do module 1 from the face-to-face course. So you'd start and submit the first 2 assessments, do module 1 from the face-to-face course, and then you'd have a period of time to complete the rest of the online and face-to-face course modules 2, 3 and 4. There's 4 modules in that face-to-face course. So that's good to know, Reb, that you're taking advantage of that.
Thanks.
We got a message there from one of the others here. Who's that from? From Nicole.
Yeah.
Being a lapsed coach, redoing the certification and working on the online principles right now. So thanks for that, Nicole. We've also got Mary Jane and Kelly online. Are any of you guys happy to share?
Yeah, hi, I'm Chloe. I'm only up to the principles, the online advanced coaching principles course at this stage. I've previously done level 1 course, but I never completed the books. I was in and out of study at the time, so I'm finally getting around to doing my coaching courses.
Very good, Chloe. And is that a Mary Jane or a Kelly or both there? Not sure we're hearing them well at the moment, but if you do get your sound working there, Mary Jane or Kelly, please jump in and let us know where you're up to. So it sounds like a lot of people are at this stage who are online, which is terrific. That's probably where we're focusing on tonight. Michelle, if you want to skip to the next slide, we'll keep going. So firstly, a little bit of history. These courses were developed during 2014 mostly, and we're continuing to develop them during 2015. We launched the online courses, the general principles and the WAG in late 2014, MAG in early 2015, and we're continuing to roll them out. Trampoline course is out, and there's some more soon to follow before the end of the year. The face-to-face courses were piloted for MAG and WAG in December 2014, and again in January 2015. The one in Queensland there, January 2015, was to approximately 60 people, so that was a really good test of the course and how it works running with a lot of people and a lot of presenters. Then the trampoline face-to-face course was piloted in June this year, with all of them being fairly successful. We didn't have to change them heavily from the pilots through to the live courses, which we were quite pleased with. And more courses are to come before the end of this year, we expect. So anyway, to start thinking about the online course requirements, which you guys are probably familiar with, and I'm sure that a lot of this you'll be familiar with, so I'll move reasonably quickly, but please feel free to slow me down, type a question, or unmute yourself and ask a question. So while you're doing the online course, you need to also be working in the gym and learning in the gym. We're really aware of the value of on-the-job training with a mentor, and there's also the textbook that you would all have access with if you've purchased or potentially borrowed it from someone, or through whatever means you need to have access to that championship gymnastics textbook, which is really valuable source of knowledge. It's a very detailed book that we've chosen there. So the online advanced coaching principles course has it's broken up in a series of modules that I'm sure you're all becoming familiar with. This is a graphical representation of the modules with the different topics, and this is the course, of course, that's relevant to every gym sport. We might go next slide, Michelle. So this is with a little bit more detail of the content within each of those units or topics. And for those of you that have started exploring that online general principles course, you will have seen that there's a large amount of information within there. There's a lot of learning to be done for those of you who haven't looked at these sorts of topics before. And for potentially some of you who have done some study in this more advanced level of coaching before, it's still good information and potentially a refresher or some more topics that you haven't seen and presented in that same gymnastics-specific way. There's a question how we get hold of the textbook. If you haven't got it available, and we've only been selling it for a while, you would get hold of it from Gymnastics Australia's Gym Shop. So we can make that available if you want to phone in, or it's online as well. You can place an order. These are the advanced Gymsport coaching courses. Here, that same graphical representation. They're reasonably small on the screen, but you can see that they're broken up in the same way, each Gymsport, into different units focusing on a different area. So the top left one there being the WAG course with an introduction, an acrobatics type module, so tumbling focus, swing module, and on through the other topics there. Each of the gym sport specific courses is broken up in a similar way that suits their sport best. So again, they have a lot of really good, valuable information with a real focus, in a lot of cases, on the skills within that sport, ideal models and the like. So when you get up to them, there's a lot of PDFs that can be opened, which you can feel free to print and use to help you coaching. If you want to make a folder up of any of them that you take to your gym or anything like that, that's a resource for you that some of the best coaches in your sport have helped us put together. So if you've started looking at the course, you'd be familiar with this screen here, the way that the course looks. And while I'm speaking, Michelle, you might even be able to jump into our learning management system.
Yep, I've got it set up already.
Terrific. We might switch to that and have a look at it in PowerPoint in the learning management system.
Okay, so Nick, I might lead this bit, but you direct me if you want me to go in different places.
Absolutely.
This is an example of a learner's screen. This particular coach has, you can see over on the left-hand side here, this particular coach has purchased the Online Principles course, and they have also purchased the Online MAG and the Online WAG course. If we look over here, they haven't actually launched the WAG course yet, so it's brand new. They haven't opened it because it says launch. They haven't started. But if we look at one of these and we click on the launch button, then we can just resume from where they last opened. So what I'm going to do is just take you through a couple of screenshots so we can have a look at this. But I will come back to this screen because if you notice there's a button here on the top of the screen. This upload document button is particularly important for you guys. Now, on the screen that you see, there will always be some latest news and course updates and stuff here. So when you log into the LMS at different points in time, there'll be information and stuff in the latest news box. Obviously here it's announcing that the tumbling course came through. There was a promotion link. The spotter workshop has just been released. And then if you're experiencing any support through the LMS, you just click on this email button here and an email will automatically go through to education and you just tell us what your issues might be. So let's go in. If we look at the navigation over on the top left-hand corner of the screen, your Gymnastics Australia button is always your home button. So that will take you home. But what we're going to do is open up this online MAG course that this coach has already been working in. And if I just enlarge the screen and we look at this particular topic, which is actually in the MAG course, it's the very first unit that you see when you open up the course. When we open up the screen and all the navigation tabs down the left-hand side of the screen, when they all become a light colour or not a bold colour, it means you've clicked on that particular page, you haven't missed a page. When you exit from one of the units, it's important that you click on the exit unit button. And the reason being, it's to ensure that any work that you've done within the course, any tests or quizzes that you've done, it means that gets saved in the back screen because this is a pop-up box. So if we exit this button here, but we come back to the home screen, we can actually see that this particular coach, if you look at this, this gives you your progress that you've worked through the course. So if we look at the left-hand side, we can always click this and resume it. It means the course will pop up and we can view it. All right, but if we take a note of the units in the MAG course, this particular coach has done Unit 7 and Unit 1. And we know that because there's a green tick beside it. So when you've finished every single unit within the course, you need to be able to see a green tick beside every single one of these. All right. The other things just to note on here, the date you enrolled in the course just gives you a bit of information. The advanced course is the second component of 3 parts of the MAG Advanced Coaching Pathway. It gives you 3 credit points or updating points, and it gives you, once you achieve the advanced coaching, you do the online MAG, you achieve a certificate specifically that sits within the LMS. All right. A couple of important things to note here. If you click this button here, it opens up your email box and you can email automatically an email straight to education. So if you're having any issues with your navigation at any point in time, take a screenshot, drop it into the email and shoot an email through to education so that we can support you. All right. Like I said, our resume button, it will always take you back to the page that you last exited from. All right, so this was the page that we were on at the end. And essentially, if we look on the back screen, so if we look behind here, that will tell you that we've actually completed and we've passed this unit. So the pop-up box, when you're working through the course, you're going to enlarge it. But behind it, in the back screen, will have your results. And it tells you that you've passed this actual component of the course. So if I go back to this test candidates homepage again, and we actually look at the principles course, it's exactly the same thing. It opens up where I was last working. You see down the left-hand side that all these pages have been opened in this particular unit. If I close it out, it tells me I've actually passed that particular unit, and it's got the green tick beside it. So I'm working my way through the online principles course. I've done unit 1, which essentially is an introductory unit, but I want to now move on to unit 2. When you're navigating, use the buttons at the top, come back to home. You can also use these tabs, which can then assist you, and you can click on the units. All right, so there's various ways in which you can access the course, but let's say we want to launch unit 2. Now, we haven't been into this unit before, so if you see down the left-hand side, as we click the next button, you'll notice up here on the left that the pages change in shade because they're topics that we've actually worked through, we've read. It's important also for you to look at every unit that you are within the principles course. The assessment tab tells you about every single assessment. These are identical. So you don't need to be in unit 2 to open up the unit 2 assessment task or the unit 5 assessment task. All right? All of these tabs will give you information that will help you. Okay? I guess one of the key things within the course is that within specific units, there are quizzes and activities that you need to complete. So, Nick, do you want to go on to that now, or shall I show everyone how to do a external request upload, do you think?
Let's come back to that. Let's jump back to those PowerPoints. So, does anyone have any questions they want to raise about this navigation of the courses while we're there? No, we might move on. Feel free to raise a note. Yep, go on.
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. My only concern was similar to, I think it was Reb's one, that it would time out, or you'd lose internet connection and it wouldn't save. I think I was writing a coaching philosophy, and there's quite a lot of words in there, and it was blank the next time I opened it, and I wondered if that was something I did or if I'd have to go back and re-enter that. But I see that you've had little ticks next to those units, so I guess that's how I can check if it's worked.
Yeah,
definitely.
Probably the only time where you might lose work is if you've got that pop-up screen where you're doing all the work and the reading and so on open, and the back screen, that home screen that you can see here, is closed, whether that's through a loss of an internet connection or through you going and closing it before you've closed down the pop-up screen. That does cause the connection to be lost. They call it the workflow or something to be lost, and work lost. So you just need to make sure a good internet connection is helpful, but you need to make sure that pop-up screen is closed and exited first.
Okay, so if it's not ticked, I'll have to go back and make sure everything is filled out again, so it won't be blank when I go back into the training, or it shouldn't be blank.
It shouldn't be. If it's saved properly, it shouldn't be blank. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And you don't actually, as long as, you know how I showed you on the left-hand side of the page that you've got darker and lighter pages? As long as, if for some reason you've timed out and you've got to go back in, just make sure it's the light colour shade so it looks like you've clicked on the page. You don't need to go back and insert the text again.
Okay.
All right, if you've already done it, you don't need to go back and insert it. As long as you've actually gone through and done it the first time, all right, you should end up, as long as every page has been ticked and if the unit has a quiz, you have to have passed the quiz for the green tick to come up.
Okay. So the lessons within the training aren't compulsory. They're just
they're there for your learning, all right, and look,
yes.
That's where the idea is. Some people will click through and skip through it a little bit.
Okay.
As long as you've been on every page and you've got the light colour shade on the left-hand side and you've passed all the quizzes, then you will pass that particular unit.
Okay, perfect. No, I was just worried that all of that, the writing that I'd written in there, like I'd have to put it back in and I couldn't remember what I'd typed. And
yeah, no,
that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to spend a little bit of time. Michelle, I've just grabbed control of the screen from you now.
I see that.
Going to spend a little bit of time thinking about the assessment tasks, but again, guys, if you want to jump in and ask questions, feel free. So there's quite a few assessment tasks, and we want to try and help you make sense of them and understand the structure and how to probably avoid a couple of the common mistakes that people made in making some of these assessment tasks. So you can see this graphic here. In the Advanced Coaching Principles course, that's where the majority of the online assessment takes place. And there's two major tasks, that we call them, that are done in your workplace. There's a physical preparation project and an annual plan, so a planning task or project. And then there's 3 smaller activities that you need to complete and upload to the LMS as well. And then 4 quizzes, 4 assessment tasks where you'll answer questions within the LMS, within the course itself. And then within the Gymsport course, you really got one small assessment task to do, which is a skill analysis assessment task. And that's within the Gymsport course because we want it done about that Gymsport. You need to analyse 4 skills and upload it to the LMS. And then you've got some online activities, some quiz type activities again. And then you've got some face-to-face assessment tasks as well, which we'll go through. There's 3 that you'll do at the face-to-face course. So that online Advanced Coaching Principles course, of those assessment tasks, these 2 major assessments are going to be uploaded to the LMS through what we call an external training request. And we'll talk about how to do that successfully later on. It's not too hard, but there's a couple of hints and tricks that we'll show you. Same way of submitting these workplace activities. They're mainly as Word documents, and you'll upload them to the LMS again. And then the quizzes, 4 quizzes, you need to get a 90% correct to pass. The Gymsport course, the skill assessment tasks get uploaded as external training requests or ETRs again, and then the online activities as completed online, quizzes online. This is another way to break it up, which we won't spend a great deal of time on, but they're breaking it down. These bold, they're those major assessment tasks: physical prep project, annual and seasonal plan, and then the other 3 work-based tasks and the skill analysis. So anyway, external training requests. The external training requests are the way that you submit your work, that you upload it to the LMS. And each external training request, you essentially attach documents to it. We'll take you through how exactly you do this in a few minutes. The documents can take the form of a completed report, a scanned in document if you've handwritten, or a first aid certificate you've been provided, basically any electronic document that you need to upload. what we do ask, and we'll go through this, is that if there's multiple documents, some of those larger projects have 3, 4, even up to sort of 6 or 7 documents associated with them. We'd like them all submitted within the one ETR, not 5 or 6 or 7 different ETRs. It helps us a lot with tracking and with forwarding them onto our assessors. And it also will help you if they do need to come back to you for some further work. If they're all on one ETR, it makes it a lot easier to keep track of. If your ETR is declined, so within the ETR you'll submit it, and the assessor will look at it and either approve it if everything is fine and at the level, or decline it. Now, decline doesn't mean you've failed and you never get to complete your advanced coaching course. It means you need to do something and then resubmit it once you've done it. So a common one within the planning, the planning project, the annual plan, is you need to do 3 weekly plans for three different apparatus. And quite often people submit it first time around and they've only done 1 weekly plan. So that'll be declined. You'll get some feedback electronically that says you've only done 1 plan, you need to do the other 2 plans. You'll upload the new document and resubmit it, and hopefully second time around you'll be it'll be approved. When you resubmit it, importantly, you don't need to create a new ETR. In fact, we'd far prefer it if you don't. You go back into the same ETR and attach the new document, the updated document, and resubmit. And again, in terms of tracking, it's far easier to see that you've submitted it twice. The first time it tells you and us why it was needed a resubmit, and then we can see the second document that's hopefully approved. And it's actually a simpler way for you to do it. You don't have to create new ETRs. These are the documents or the projects that require ETRs created. So quite a few of the assessment tasks, and importantly the first aid certificate. It's the way you'll submit the first aid certificate. We might jump over to the LMS now. My screen looks just very slightly different, but the process is exactly the same for creating an ETR. This menu on the right you'd be familiar with. Under Learning, you'll click on External Training and you'll click on Create. So this is the way you're going to submit all of your documents to us. You'll notice when you go in here there's no upload button right now, and that's because we haven't created an ETR, we haven't saved it. So I'm going to select a template, and I'm going to, if this is was my annual and sequel plan, that's what I would create. Select. It's got the title in there for me, and it's given it a number. I'm going to give it a date completed of today. No vendor or certificate card number. I'm just going to type a quick description. And I'm going to save it. Hopefully I've entered everything it needs. Yep. And I think I've got it right there. I need an end date. It wants an expiry date. So this one doesn't actually have an expiry date, but I'll put in something random around the first aid certificate. That's a little more important. I'll try saving it again. And now we can see there's a spot for me to select a file. No, I haven't done it, so I won't hunt around for it, but you can see, like you're probably familiar with from a lot of other projects, you can select a file, attach it, and then, importantly, click Save again. That's submitted and ready for the assessor to mark. So guys, hopefully no one has too much trouble with that. If you do, if you need a hand, then you can call us or email us for a bit of support, but generally people are finding that reasonably straightforward, sending in those ETRs. What we're going to do now is go through some of the projects and assessment tasks. So this is your junior coach project report that you'll fill in. This is only page one. We have had a few people make the mistake of only submitting one page, and then that would get declined with a message to submit the other pages. This is a nice, easy one that you'd observe a junior coach, make some feedback to the junior coach, and keep the report and submit the report to show that you do it. So the next one we'll look at, 2.2, is the spotting logbook. Of course, with most of our gym sports, it's an important thing to be able to do to spot correctly, to look after the learning and the safety of your gymnast, and just as importantly, in a way that's safe for you. We don't want any of our coaches spotting in a way that will get them injured. And so what we want to do is, in your on-the-job learning with your mentor, go through and learn to spot all of the skills at that level. And the logbooks are where you'll take through that and record it. This is an image from the logbook. I think we took an image from the trampoline logbook. So you can see the skills listed here, where you've put down that you've learnt it, and then a sign-off, signed by your mentor as well down here. So you'll work your way through those skills. It potentially takes some time. It doesn't have to be all with your own athletes. There might be potentially other athletes involved. In trampoline, you can see down the bottom here, there's some supplementary apparatus as well. So each of these is tailored for that gym sport and what's used. And in trampoline, using mats and using harnesses or rigs is an important skill for coaches to have. Some logbooks are one page, but the majority of logbooks are a couple of pages. So make sure you submit both of those pages. I'm going to bring this up to a large screen again. So task 5.1, physical prep project. This is a reasonably big one, and this is, for most people, this is one reason why you can't complete this online principles course in a day or in a couple of days, because this project, through its very nature, takes 4 or 5 weeks to complete. It involves planning a physical preparation program, so with a pre-test, documenting that pre-test, running the program for a 4-week period and documenting it as you go, or recording it, and then a post-test to see hopefully some improvements in your athletes' physical capabilities, and writing up a brief report about that. Very, very relevant to what an advanced coach would do. If some of you out there are currently operating at this level and doing this type of work, we don't want you to redo it. Make sure it's documented and submit what you do. And for people who are moving into this space of the advanced coach and aren't currently doing it, or aren't currently doing it to the level of detail required, it's a good opportunity to do something with your gymnasts for the first time, pre-test, design and implement a program, and then post-test and report. Now there's a few documents to upload here, and this is why we put this list. You can see the note down here, requirement to upload 5 or 6 documents into the LMS for this one. So again, a reminder, 1 ETR and uploading multiple documents. Depending how you break it down, would mean 5 or 6 documents. So we've provided a lot of support within the LMS around this. There's, for example, the MAG and the WAG physical programs that you can pick up and use, or modify to your needs, or use what's in your gym. And that's some of the support provided. But you can see here a list that you would check off. For example, up here, you would do one of these 3 and make sure that you'd submitted it.
Thank you.
So they're Is that making sense, guys? That's a reasonably big project there that needs to be undertaken. Now we're just giving you a snapshot. We're not covering all of the information. These slides are actually out of a document that's on the LMS within the course that you can open up and read the full document. We don't probably have the time or the need to go through everything. It's there waiting for you, and it'll explain it in a lot of detail, and you'll be able to access all of these other documents that you'll be able to use and just fill in as you go. Next assessment, self-analysis. It's a really important skill for coaches to have, to be able to effectively look at their own coaching, analyse it and work out ways to improve. And so we want to take you through that. For some of you, you might have done it before, and you'll hopefully recognise the benefits. For others of you who haven't done this sort of thing before, hopefully you'll find it really beneficial. But you'll use some video recording of yourself. You'll need someone to assist you with the video recording, and then you'll make an analysis of that. This is a small part of the document where you'll record that. It's an eight-page analysis of your own coaching, and this is the document you'll upload. A really valuable activity, we believe, for a coach. So annual and seasonal plan, this is probably, along with the physical preparation project, the other major assessment task in terms of size and volume of work. Some of you may already be doing planning to this level of detail, in which case you don't have much work to do on this annual and seasonal plan. For others of you, you may, this may be a big step up in the level of detail in your planning. But it's hopefully going to be useful to you, because you can write it for your gymnasts in your club, and this time of year you'd be writing your plan for next year. So these are the steps here. Design an annual plan, and then look at the season and design a season plan around that annual plan. Then start breaking it down to a greater level of detail in the weekly plan. And this is where, I think I mentioned before, a few have been submitted that haven't had 3 apparatus weekly plans, and they've been declined. And look, it's not a huge job in the grand scheme of things to write 2 more apparatus weekly plans and resubmit. But for people with the face-to-face course approaching, and they've submitted it potentially just in time, you don't want things to be declined and have another couple of plans to do and resubmit. It just delays things for you. So try and remember that one, that there's 3 apparatus weekly plans to design, and then there's a review of your plans that you'll need to do as well as part of this project. So this again is a bit of a checklist that you'll be able to use. There's a big Excel spreadsheet that we provide with a number of worksheets that you can simply use and complete for this task, and that lines up with this checklist here. So you've got 2 annual calendars to choose from to fill in. You do some goal setting and then a plan. Put in a seasonal plan with the detail there as well. So complete that on your checklist, and then the weekly plans. You've got, again, 3 different versions that you can look at of a weekly plan. Choose the one that you like best or that works best for you. Use that one, fill it in for the 3 different apparatus, and you're ready to go with that one. There's a weekly strength plan, and then a report to submit as well. So there are all the parts there. This sign-off sheet, formatted very slightly differently, is within the LMS there waiting for you. So your next assessment task is the skill analysis. This is Gymsport specific. So it's not in the online general principles, it's in the Gymsport specific course, because we want you to analyse 4 skills from that particular gym sport that you're doing your study in. So you've got 3 parts to it, or 3 components you need to look at. The ideal model first. You'll have a choice about 4 skills from 4 different groups of skills. You need to detail the ideal model for that skill. All of this information is within the course for all of these assessment tasks, so if you don't know it now, then don't fear. It's all provided to you, but you need to analyse it and then put it together in your own words, I suppose, within the tasks provided. You've got a skill development section to fill in with physical prep and other things there, and then some corrections, common errors, and safety things to be mindful of that you'll need to include in this little task as well. This is a snapshot of what you'll do, but this isn't the whole task, the whole template you'll complete it on. This is just the first little bit. So that's the online assessments. We won't go through the quizzes, the online quizzes today. They're reasonably straightforward. They're built in within the course, and you complete them within the course. So we won't go through them today unless anyone particularly wants to. But some things to be aware of for how they're marked. Once you've uploaded them via the external training requests, we've got some experienced coaches who are also been through assessment training. We call them our assessors. You won't meet them necessarily, and you won't necessarily even know who they are. That's not particularly important for this assessment, but they're the ones who will be marking your assessments. They're people from around the country. They may or may not be within your state, and again, that's not important. They'll pick up that ETR when we assign it to them, and they'll mark it within 7 days. We give them 7 days to complete it. Often they turn it around much quicker, but that's something to be really mindful of. If you're working towards a face-to-face course and there's a deadline for enrolling or registering in that face-to-face course, some of these assessment tasks you can't be submitting the day of or the night before the registration day. Our assessors, as I say, will often turn it around much quicker, but you need to give them up to 7 days. So really you need to be trying to hand in or submit all of these assessment tasks 7 days or more out from the deadline for enrolling in the face-to-face course, if that makes sense. So if the face-to-face course deadline is 2 weeks before the face-to-face course, you need to aim to submit your assessment tasks 3 weeks before the face-to-face course. And that just gives you that buffer where you should be certain that you'll be able to enrol, register for your course. I think I've mentioned before, if your assessment tasks are declined, you'll get feedback on how to correct them and resubmit them. Guys, I can't emphasize this enough. The closer to what we've found is the closer to a face-to-face course you submit your assessment tasks, you're not going to be the only one doing that. So there's a 2-3 weeks out from a face-to-face course, we get a spike in the number of assessments submitted, and so our assessors take longer to turn them around, and they'll be closer to that 7-day mark. So I can't emphasize enough, submit them early. So then we're going to, if everyone's comfortable with that assessment stuff, we'll have a look at what the Gymsport courses look like when you get to the face-to-face. They're all broken up into 4 modules. So that makes it nice and easy to remember across the Gymsports. Probable exception of tumbling, which will be smaller, but the others are 4 modules. So this graphic shows MAG and WAG, which can often be delivered together for large chunks of it. Module 1 is an acrobatics module. It includes tumbling, trampoline, vault, somersaults, and that is MAG and WAG and GFA and acro and tumbling. You could have coaches from all of those sports together doing module 1 at the same time, exactly the same content. Great opportunity to learn off other coaches from other gym sports, but the benefit also is that you're then you've completed a quarter of each of those Gymsport's advanced coach courses. Module 2 swing is mag and wag swing, so it covers the high bar and the uneven bars, and mag and wag coaches will be doing that part of the course together as well, exactly the same module. So for mag and wag coaches, half of the advanced face-to-face course is exactly the same. You don't have to repeat it to be a mag or a wag coach. Then you get down here and it splits. Module 3 for mag is parallel bars. Module 3 for wag is posture dance choreo. Module 4 for mag, we broke it into 4A and 4B, but it's covered it within the same essentially half day, is rings and pommel horse. For wag, module 4 is beam. So you can see that mag and wag split for module 3 and 4, which is generally going to be day 2 of this course, and they'll be together for day 1. Trampoline, similar structure, but it's all trampoline unique. Basic somersaults, module 1, forward somersaults, back somersaults. They're advanced forward somersaults, advanced back somersaults. You can see some of the skills there are far more advanced than what's here. And then module 4, double mini tramp. Module 4 contains some synchro stuff as well. You can see that all of this stuff is trampoline unique. So you'll have trampoline coaches in there in the main. Those are the courses that we've released to date. So those are the courses that we're looking at the module structure in detail. That information will be available around the other courses that are released as the end of this year and into early next year. So these are the assessment tasks again in those face-to-face courses. The somersault assessment task. The somersault assessment task, if I skip back here, is covered in module 1 here, and that's a short presentation, and importantly using one of your own athletes. So for some parts of these face-to-face courses you need to have your own personal demonstrators attend the course. Before you attend the course, the times when your personal demonstrators need to be there will be made clear. Very similar somersault assessment task in the trampoline course. You've got a skill presentation. In all advanced courses, you'll have a skill presentation. You'll be assigned a skill a couple of weeks out from the course by the course coordinator. And whatever skill you are assigned, you're going to need to do a presentation on how to coach it. You'll again need one of your own athletes there, what we call a personal demonstrator, and you'll need to take the group through to a presentation on progressions and physical prep and key safety and all of those types of things, very similar to the skill task that you've done online. Finally, you'll be assessed on your coaching performance throughout the entire course. There's a number of items that the assessor's looking for that they want to see you consistently perform. Essentially, they want to see that you're coaching at the advanced level. I won't go through in detail what those items are now. I'll leave that till it gets closer to the course. So guys, that's the basic kind of modular structure of the course when you get to the face-to-face and the assessments. A little bit more detail here on the assessments. So that sort of brings us to the end of what we had planned for you guys tonight. Hopefully it's been useful. Does anyone want to ask questions, touch on something again, or anything that we haven't covered?
Yeah, hi, it's Nicole here.
Yeah, hi.
With the bringing your own gymnast and the skills that you'll be assigned. When will we
Yep.
find out that? Because we need to give our gymnasts parents notification.
Okay, absolutely. Look, it'll be a minimum of 2 weeks before the course. That's part of the reason around your states will be setting the courses now if they haven't already for either towards the end of this year or earliest next year, and that's part of the reason around a 2-week prior to the course deadline for enrolments and registration. So those sorts of details can be organised. So let's most times that's 2 weeks prior is going to be a Friday. You can expect an email on the Monday or Tuesday, a couple of weeks before the course, letting you know what skill you've been assigned, when you'll need personal demonstrators. They're probably the 2 most important things, along with some other housekeeping stuff. And that gives you hopefully enough time to give those exact times to your gymnasts so that they can be there. We think it's really important for you to have your own gymnast there to work with. There's going to be also what we call course demonstrators. So they're going to be athletes, fairly good standard athletes that the course coordinator and presenter have organised. You'll work a little bit with them, and they'll be there to demonstrate some of the stuff under the guidance of the presenter. But we want to see you working with your own athlete in some sections, partly because then you'll have enough time working with an athlete. The course demonstrators that the presenter provides, it's probably only 2 or 3 demonstrators, and on a course that might have 15, 20 people, it doesn't give you enough hands-on time, both to learn and for the presenters to see you working with athletes.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, we're also only, our club's only at level, our most advanced level is level 4 WAG at the moment. So now I'm taking the girls to level 5 next year. So the skills that I'll be teaching them, what if I'm assigned a skill that is beyond my gymnast's capability?
Yeah, really good question. And we absolutely recognise that you can't put the chicken before the egg. We need to. You guys, a lot of coaches who have come through and have been, in a lot of cases that we're in the future, intermediate trained, just starting to learn on the job, maybe for 6 months or a year at this advanced level. Their athletes are coming through with them. They're potentially trying to stay a step ahead of their athletes, you would like to think, and their athletes are not going to be performing some of the top end skills in particular. And we don't want you, in fact, if you were pushing your athletes to do skills that they can't do and they're not prepared to do, that's probably grounds for you to not be a competent advanced coach. What we want you to start doing in that case is working through some of the preparations, some of the progressions that they're ready for. You'll have the opportunity potentially to work on spotting some of the skills with some of the course demonstrators potentially, but working at your athlete's level and taking them through, and that's what the presenters are going to be looking for. We certainly don't want to see you getting to the course and pushing your athlete to do things that they can't do and they're unsafe.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
It's Breb here. I've got a question.
Yep.
And it's more to do with how often the courses are going to be run. In New South Wales, the next course is due to be, I think it was the 6th of December, the first date. You need to book in by the 20th of November. Given that I tested for the physical preparation project a week and a half ago, there's no way I'm going to have that finished by the 20th of November, which means I'll miss the December course. How often are they likely to run?
Yeah, look, Reb, you being in New South Wales, one of the largest states, that's probably a good thing for you in terms of how often they're likely to be run. The smaller states are going to have them run less often. States are looking right now, and we're discussing with them constantly how this is going to look. It's a new course, and people are essentially have spent time doing the beginner course and now spent the last year and a half, 2 years doing the intermediate course. And people have transitioned from level 1, 2 courses to now intermediate or advanced. We think there's probably a large number of people who should be or are getting ready for the course. We know there's 400 and something people who are currently doing the online courses. So we know there's good numbers coming through. In New South Wales, I think you need to probably discuss it with your state association. They'd be planning out next year's calendar now, and only time will tell exactly how often they'll be run. So I can't give you a time for when their next course will be next year, but I think they probably have an idea in their office of when they'll start next year.
Is there a requirement to attend the course in your own state?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. My issue is
More than happy for people to move across borders and do courses interstate. In fact, we think in some ways there's benefits to that, in that there might be different techniques or different things you can learn off people interstate, and vice versa, they'll learn off you.
My issue is that my club's a small club, and it doesn't have any advanced coaches for WAG, and we have kids doing level 5 and potentially a new child arriving who's going to do 6 next year.
Yep.
And as I was previously a level 2 coach, I'm the one that needs to hurry up and get recertified.
Yep.
I think
it's probably worth you.
Sorry, Nick, just to jump in there. If you've previously done a level 2 and you're working your way through this, I think you'll manage it very easily. And I guess the course has been designed not just as a resource, but for people like yourselves to work through at your own pace. And you'll potentially be one of those people that will go through the course pretty easily and pretty quickly. So, I mean, we're here to help. We're here to do what we can, and liaise with your state association in terms of just let them know, give them the heads up that you're doing the best you can, but you're really keen to attend their course, and they're very supportive. They're keen to help you as much as they can as well.
Okay. My issue is I don't want to affect these kids competing next year.
Of course.
I think it's a really good point Michelle makes to probably get on the phone tomorrow if you get the chance to Gym New South Wales, talk to Anne. I think in there would be the best person to talk to in their education team there. They might be able to extend the closing date or the registering date for you of that course. Well, just have a chat. I think at the very least she'll be able to give you some dates. That extended pathway someone spoke about very early on tonight is something to be really aware of as well. A lot of states are looking at running Module 1 separately, and for that one, remember there's less requirements in the online course to be able to register for that one. So you might like to do Module 1 because kids, gymnasts in particular, are pretty enthusiastic about getting going with the back salt, front salt work. And then when the state starts running Module 2, 3, 4, a few months later potentially, you jump on board that because you've completed all of the online work.
I actually did a Salto workshop earlier this year, a bridging workshop I think they called it, but apparently that's not going to have much effect on the course apart from the fact that it just reviewed all the techniques to use.
Yep. What we know is what we know is the Salto workshop is far less preparation for coaching back salts and front salts than completing the online theoretical training and a 4.5-hour course here, which includes some fairly rigorous assessment. Internationally and research and based on our own injury data, we know that we need to be really careful about coaching back salts and front salts to our athletes, and that's why we need our coaches to go through, if they haven't already done training to this level, we need our coaches to go through training at this level because really the safety of the athletes has to be put as a priority in this sort of a space. So guys, look, if no one else has anything else that they need to ask, we are available if you need to get in touch with us tomorrow next week. But thank you very much for taking the time to join the webinar with us tonight. We do appreciate you taking it. We do have a question here about distance and remote people and mentors.
I think that's a good question. Yeah.
Question?
Yeah. I think the question with your mentor, there's some of the tasks that you can do where you can do via Skype. So, for example, the self-assessment task, you can video yourself and talk about that with your mentor. You can discuss the physical preparation task and gain some assistance from your mentor. Certainly, the junior coach project can be done with a junior coach that you're working with in your gym. And look, we've tried to design the activities and tasks. So let's say potentially that you are 100 kilometres away. You might go and spend a 3-day weekend with a mentor who happens to be a little way away from you and try and complete some of the tasks. You know, you might do 1 or 2 visits with them over a period of time and you complete some of the tasks at their gym, or you might ask for them to come and help you. The other option with that, in some of the states, like I know in Queensland, they have a very strong state squad system. So the state squad system allows people, is run in regional areas, and potentially the state squad system can allow you to go and learn at a training camp situation and gain support there. So look, I think there's lots of options for the country people that weren't there before. And look, we're obviously happy to try and help facilitate that, and as are the state coordinators in each state.
Okay, guys. So thanks very much for tonight. We've recorded this session, so we'll be making it available, and we'll be running a very similar session at the same time next week. But thanks for taking the time. Do call out if you need a hand to either Gymnastics Australia or your state association if you need to discuss any of these things.
Yeah.
And we wish you the best with your training.
Yeah. And just a note, Asha, I see you've just come on the line. I think there was some feedback that was given to us just earlier in the session that the Queensland obviously is not on daylight saving time, so potentially some of those people who've dialed in late, we've not been real clear that the session started at 8 o'clock Melbourne time. So Asha, did you have any specific questions that potentially we could help you with?
Yeah, I'm just wanting to know what is module 1, because I'm kind of struggling to get through the advanced course as I don't have a mentor here at our fob. And it says you're allowed to yeah.
Yeah. Nick, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, sure. Look, this is a graphic of module 1 in the MAG-WAG course here. So that's around the really essentially the tumbling, back salt, front salt, and vault stuff. And possibly what you're thinking about or have been told about is the extended pathway, where you would complete parts of the online course, and after completing parts of the online course, you would be able to enroll in module 1 and complete module 1. And then once you complete all of the online course, you would then be able to do module 2, 3, and 4. So it's all, and you'd have up to 3 years to complete the rest of the advanced course.
Right. Okay. So I have to finish the first online course first. Is that module 1 or?
Yeah. Look, you need to complete 2 of the assessment tasks in the first online course. So I'm actually trying to remember which of the 2. Michelle, do you remember which of the 2 assessment tasks need to be completed to get into the extended pathway module 1?
I think it's the 2, the planning assessment and the physical preparation.
The major ones.
Yeah, it's the 2 major ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. So I just need to complete those 2, and then I can enroll into the face-to-face.
Yeah, module 1 only. So until you've completed, yeah. You won't, the system won't actually let you enrol into module 2, 3 and 4 until you've completed the rest of it. But yeah, you could certainly do module 1 and you'd essentially be okay, or given the tick of approval then to coach those skills that are covered within module 1.
All right, so I just need to complete the 2 major assessment tasks in the online course, and then I can enrol. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
Oh, thank you so much.
Was there any other people who've come online who came on late who had any specific questions? I think Alana, you've been there since the beginning. Anyone else got any specific questions? We are running this session again next week between 8 and 9 o'clock, the same time next week, and we'll certainly look to try and promote obviously to the Queensland people that the time slot is different. That was obviously our error, but look, we are here to help and we want to be able to try and facilitate coaches being better educated. So feel free to ask any questions, shoot an email through to education@gymnastics, and we'll do anything we can to support you and help you to work through this process. Nick, have you got anything else to add?
No, look, I want to reiterate, I suppose we're here to help. We're trying to get people familiar with this new training program, and good on you guys for being early adopters and jumping on it as one of the first groups through. So thanks for your time tonight. We'll send out the link to the recording of this webinar, and as Michelle said, a reminder about next week with times in all of the time zones across the country.
All right, thanks very
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
See you.
Thank you.